Hello, YouTube, and welcome to Level-Headed News. This is your host, Brenda. I have 5 articles for you in this episode, and all the URLs are listed in the description of this video for your convenience. The first one here is off of NewYorkDailyNews.com, and it says, Texas Mosque early morning fire cause unknown. And there is video on this if you want to pull it up to take a look at it. It says, an early morning fire destroyed a Texas mosque on Saturday. Firefighters were dispatched to the Islamic Center of Victoria just after 2 a.m. and saw that the building had been completely engulfed in flames, the Victoria Advocate reported. The massive fire took nearly 4 hours to extinguish, with first responders around 6:30 a.m. Roughly 20 members of the congregation conducted their first prayer of the day on the sidewalk across the street from their destroyed place of worship as investigators made their way into the building to uncover what started the fire. Members of the mosque plan to complete the day's remaining prayer calls as close to the destroyed building as fire investigators would allow, the newspaper reported. They said it is a restricted area for now for the investigation, the center's president, Shahad, told the Advocate. Victoria Fire Marshal Tom said Saturday he does not yet know what started the blaze. The fire was called in by 7-Eleven clerk Paul Holbert, who saw the smoke and flames when he was taking out the trash. Holbert said he didn't see anything suspicious at the mosque before or after the fire. The center was recently burglarized on January the 21st. I believe the fire was the result of arson. No one was in the building at the time of the fire and no injuries were reported. The next article I have for you is off of BizPac Review. Americans choke on their Chick-fil-A as de Blasio pounds Trump for stripping religious freedom. Freedom of religion for me, not for thee. Following President Donald Trump's lead, the New York City Mayor Bill de Blasio took to social media to espouse on the actions taken Friday by the president to keep Islamic extremists from entering the United States. Seemingly intent on positioning himself for potential 2020 White House run, de Blasio opted to pander to future voters by trumpeting ahem pluralism. De Blasio tweeted, as an American and the grandson of immigrants, I am profoundly saddened by the president's executive order on immigration. We are a country founded on the belief of religious pluralism and equality. Today, the president sent a shameful, different message. In this great city of immigrants, we will remain true to our values and always welcome those who yearn to breathe free. And the article continues. It says, unfortunately for his honor, social media users were quick to remind de Blasio of his assault on Chick-fil-A over the religious beliefs of the founder of the restaurant chain, S. Truett Cathy, who has since passed away. Responses from the Twitter noting the Democrats' call to boycott the restaurant chain. And there's a whole list of these. One says, we are a country founded on the belief of religious pluralism and equality. Last year, New York Mayor sent a shamefully different message. Another one says, you're a champion of religious equality, are you? And another one says, to rephrase, boycott Chick-fil-A because their owners are Christians. Dems are so intolerant. Another one says, you're the guy who wanted to banish Chick-fil-A because of the religious beliefs of one of its execs. And these go on. There's a bunch of them here, so if you want to read those, you can pull it up and take a look at it. Here is off of InfoWars, and it says, German newspaper publisher murder Trump to get him out of office. Newspaper publisher Joseph Joffe came up with a not-so-novel idea to remove Donald Trump from office. Have someone in the White House murder him. After a caller to the show asked the panel if there was still a way out of the Trump catastrophe to remove him from office, one female panelist began discussing how she thought Trump might be impeached before his first term was up. There has to be a qualified two-thirds majority of the Senate in order for a removal of office to take place. These are politically and legally pretty high hurdles. Have to do, or a lot, try this again, a lot would have to happen for it. We're far away from that, she said. Joffe then calmly responded, murder in the White House, for example. If you want to pull this up. It says, Joseph remains serious. The woman responded. The host of the show appeared to be on edge and eager to move on quickly. Joffe is the publisher-editor of Der Zelt, a weekly German newspaper. He is also a courtesy professor of political science at Stanford University. As we have covered on innumerable occasions before, the same leftists who would have been outraged at anyone hinting at violence against Barack Obama routinely make jokes about assassinating Trump. The mainstream media's entire narrative since the moment from when Trump secured the Republican nomination was to legitimize violence at his rallies and then blame Trump and his supporters for the unrest. Even up to the day before Trump's inauguration, CNN was still speculating as to what would happen if he was killed. As Victor Laszlo points out, German comedian Bommerman faces 5 years in prison for joking about Turkish tyrant Erdogan under the law that criminalizes insults against foreign head of state. Will the individual who joked about Trump's assassination face anything the same treatment? Don't hold your breath. And there's some more video in this if you want to check them out. The next one here is off the Conservative Tribune. It says breaking, was true when the story first came out, I guess. Obama strikes back with horrific economic news for Trump. Reaching up from the political grave, former President Barack Obama has managed to strike back at President Donald Trump one last time. U.S. economic growth failed to reach 3% for the 11th year in a row, according to MarketWatch. Is the liberal media in a tizzy over years of economic failure with Obama at the helm? Heavens no. What has the liberal media warming up their violins is the report that expansion slowed in the fourth quarter of 2016. We can expect to see a trail of tears and wailing from the decreasingly sane liberal media, claiming the slowdown during Obama's last quarter as president was the market's trepidation at the impending Trump presidency. Here are some of the real numbers to chew on from the same report. U.S. 2016 annual growth was only 1.6%. Try that again. 2016 annual growth was only 1.6%, the weakest performance since 2011. Although the historical average is 3.3%, we haven't topped 3% since 2005. In short, all 8 years of the Obama presidency were an economic train wreck. In contrast, Trump has been in office for 1 week, and his leadership is already having a stunning economic impact. The stock market has exploded, closing at an all-time high of 19,000 in just 16 days after Trump's election, according to USA Today. Jobs are being saved, jobs are being created. Even the anemic economic growth numbers under Barack Obama's presidency can't dampen the economic fire Trump has promised to unleash. Trump's push for an aggressive combination of tax cuts, reduced regulation, and economic protectionism will take some time to show in the numbers yet. You can't correct 8 years of poor economic policy overnight. It's likely that the real growth won't be reflected in our gross domestic product reports until late 2017 or early 2018. However, the immediate benefit is a renewed optimism like we haven't seen in years. America's heartland is taking Trump at his word, and the air of expectation is palpable. People hungry for jobs have faith that he will give U.S. industry more than lip service. Real economic recovery is on the way. I don't know that I agree with all of that. I mean, yes, the markets are up, but I think it's a bubble. I think that it's a bubble that is due to pop pretty quickly. It all be very cautiously optimistic, extremely cautiously optimistic at this point, because I think that it's being manipulated, and I don't know. I'm looking for a big pop. So, um, if you're stacking, you need to keep stacking. If you're prepping, you need to keep prepping, because I don't think the worst is over yet. But that's just me. The next one that we have here is off of BizPack Review, and it says Obama made Canada pay for border bridge. Obama administration made Canada pay for the entirety of the $2 billion border bridge over U.S. Custom Plaza. President Donald Trump is currently pushing to build a U.S.-Mexico border wall. The wall was a major cornerstone of his presidential campaign. He signed an executive order Wednesday starting the wall's construction. A nation without borders is not a nation, Trump said. Beginning today, the U.S. gets back control of its borders. Canada agreed to pay for the new Detroit-Windsor Bridge, U.S. Customs building, and the access roads around the bridge in 2015, according to the Globe and Mail. Ottawa failed to get the U.S. to pay for the $250 million customs building, and Canadian government had already agreed to pay for 95% of the bridge's cost. The bridge is scheduled to be finished in 2020. In 2012, former Prime Minister Stephen Harper insisted the customs building was the responsibility of the U.S. government. Washington, D.C. only said the U.S. would operate its building, not pay for it, and Canada caved. The original agreement between Michigan and Canada, including a provision stating that the U.S. federal funds weren't available for the customs building, Canada and its private partnerships would pay, according to CBC News. Trump hasn't explained how exactly the U.S. will get Mexico to pay for the wall, but he hinted Thursday American taxpayers would or could pay for it initially. Speakers of the House, Paul Ryan, said the wall could cost anywhere from $12 to $15 billion. Then Senators Barack Obama, Joe Biden, and Hillary Clinton all helped pass a 2006 law authorizing construction of 700 miles of fencing along the southern border. So there you have everything I have in this episode. There's more to follow. If you like what I'm doing here, give it a thumbs up. Media so everybody gets to hear the news. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't done that yet. And if you click that little bell next to the subscribe button and check the box, you'll get an email alert every time I do a show, and that way you'll stay informed. We'll see you on the next one.